My name is Elizabeth Willett, for those of you who are new today, and I am Senior Fertility Herbalist with the Natural Fertility Company. Our websites are thenaturalfertilityshop.com and naturalfertilityinfo.com. We have a presence here on Periscope, but we're also on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, all over. So welcome. Today I would like to talk about AMH levels. Those of you who have been on this journey for some time or who are struggling to try to conceive probably have heard the acronym AMH before. Some of you may be concerned about AMH levels. So I want to touch on this. I want to explain what AMH means, talk to you about testing and how to, what I've learned properly test, how to move forward if you've heard that your AMH levels are questionable or perhaps low, in a positive way. And then if I have some time, answer a couple of questions that came in recently that prompted this talk or this idea. So AMH levels, AMH stands for anti-Müllerian hormone. It is a hormone secreted by the cells of a resting follicle or antral follicle. Technically, medical doctors probably will refer to the follicle as antral, but this is actually a resting follicle in the ovary. So anti-Müllerian hormone is AMH, and it's taken by blood work, often just blood work. The test is blood work, and it measures the amount of that hormone. Blood work measures the amount of that hormone, which is produced by the resting follicle in the ovary. Doctors use AMH tests to in part determine egg quality and quantity. I want to go a little bit more into this resting follicle idea. Antral follicles are actually really small, 2 to 9 millimeters in diameter, and they can be seen on an ultrasound as well. They're referred to as these resting follicles, follicles on the ovaries that are waiting to mature and ovulate out an egg. The number of antral follicles, or these resting follicles that can be seen and counted, actually physically counted on an ultrasound, it is often used in addition to the blood work for AMH levels to determine egg supply or ovarian reserve for the future. So AMH is used to determine ovarian reserve, egg quantity, and sometimes doctors let it trickle down into egg quality. So the concern comes when women hear your AMH level is low. We have people reach out to us constantly with this concern, and rightly so, because they're often made to seem like this is a super bad thing and super, it's scary, essentially. When AMH levels are low, typically someone's fertility is reduced. When AMH levels are high, on the opposite side, this can indicate a fertility health issue, for example, like PCOS. The results need to take the woman's age into consideration as well. And they do. Doctors do. You're aware of this. You're aware that age for we women is really important in terms of fertility. Science has really proven that fertility and egg health begins to decline pretty rapidly as we age. It's true. Some people say at the age of 35. Other experts and other people are learning that it's age 40 and over. We, as women, are born with all of the eggs that we're going to have for our entire life. And as we age, the eggs that remain in the ovaries and are waiting to be ovulated also age. Just like our skin and all of the other cells in our body. We start to see wrinkles, our hair may start to gray, our fingernails may become a little more brittle. This is all skin sags in places. This is all signs of cells aging, and eggs are cells and they age as well. I wish I didn't have to say that. I wish that wasn't true, especially for those of you who have heard you have AMH concerns or you're still trying to conceive and you're at a later age, but there's things you can do, and we'll go into that later. Something that I want to stress is two things that I want to stress is that having a low AMH level does not immediately mean that the quality of your eggs, the health of your eggs, is also low. You may be someone who has been living a very healthy lifestyle for a very long time, who manages her stress, who is exercising regularly, who's eating as best as she can most of the time, who's taking supplements and using superfoods and things like that to boost cellular health and support the body in its aging process. All of that is trickling down to the eggs in your ovaries as well. So if you hear low AMH, even though people interpret that as low egg health or poor egg health or low egg quality, that is not really the case. It's more about quantity, the number of them remaining. And the test result number isn't telling you, going off my notes as you can see, exactly how many eggs you have left. You know, for example, if your AMH test result comes back and you have a 0.5, you see 0.5, that doesn't mean you only have half an egg, right? That's not how that's interpreted. So make sure that you clarify with your doctor or specialist what that level means for you in terms of what your number is. We have a general breakdown of AMH levels in terms of what's considered high, normal, low, very low. If you want to have that information, it's on our informational website, or our team can get that for you. But the other thing I want to stress is it's still very possible for women in their 40s to conceive with their own eggs. Everybody's situation is different. This will, of course, be determined by your overall fertility health and your overall health in general. If you've got a lot of issues and you're dealing with a lot of different fertility health issues, and you're not healthy overall, egg health may be poor and the chances of natural conception probably are going to be less. But if you're healthy and you're working on things and you really don't have any known fertility health issues like fibroids or cysts or very severe PMS or adenomyosis or any of those things that we can diagnose and that have a name, there's a possibility that your egg quality and health is still fairly good and you could conceive naturally. Please don't give up hope. I don't want you to give up hope. What next? That was a little soapbox. In most cases, it's important to point out even that low AMH results, that there could be a really high egg count. So even though you've got this low AMH result, you could still have hundreds, if not thousands, of eggs remaining in your ovaries. And it just doesn't tell you, AMH doesn't really tell you anything about egg quality. So back to the testing and whether it's reliable. AMH testing is reliable, but from what I've understood in preparing for this talk and learning on my own, is that it's really important to have the blood test to measure AMH levels, but also have the ultrasound to count the remaining follicles. That really is a better way to determine, egg quantity, if you want that much information. Of course, again, the entirety of your fertility health and your age will be taken into consideration as well. And this, even if you have that ultrasound, it's really only an approximation of the remaining eggs you have left. I don't think that there's any way yet that we've found out how to count to an exact number the eggs that are remaining in an ovary at any given point in time as a woman reaches 35 and over. I haven't come across any information or any procedure that will give you the exact number. I don't know that that's possible. If you're curious about that, I would definitely suggest talking to your doctor. I venture a guess you'll say, I don't know if that's possible, but who knows? So if you've been told that your AMH level is low, take that and look at the entirety of your fertility health. That's what we do in the work that we do. You have to take into consideration all the other aspects of your fertility health, your partner's fertility health, and the program that you're on and the timeline that you're on in general. There's more to consider. It's just one hormone reading. We are the compilation of a number of hormones, and it doesn't mean that you won't ovulate ever again. It could be sporadic, but it's not a reading that means it's the end. Like it sometimes feels like it is, right? Does that make sense? Just remember it's a number, and now we need to take into consideration a whole lot of other things and help you move forward with a natural fertility program so that you can know if and when you ovulate and take advantage of that time. So if you have a low AMH level, there's still a good chance you could go on to have a baby on your own. No one can know for sure if you're going to be able to have a child or not. We really have to choose to have a positive outlook and then start a natural fertility program. I love this quote from Jessica Bork of Her Family. I don't know if you've heard of that website or seen her website, but I'm going to read her quote. "The latest research has found that AMH levels vary significantly depending upon what point you are on your menstrual cycle that the blood test was taken. In some cases, results differ up to 60%, which is a huge discrepancy and proves there is a dire need to further research in this area," which is true. There's really a dire need to further a lot of research, but 60% variation depending upon where you are in your cycle can be huge as well. I've even seen studies that indicating there's dramatic differences in AMH levels depending upon ethnic group, your ethnicity. African American and Black and Hispanic women have had AMH levels that are on average 25% lower than Caucasian women. So there are a lot of things to take into consideration, and if you're working with a specialist who's passionate about using that value and helping you move forward, he or she should be addressing those and know that those things are they should be taken into consideration as well. So how to move forward, right? This is what everyone wants to know. So you've heard you have a low AMH level. If you have a fertility health issue that has been diagnosed, it's important to work on that issue. Whether it's through medicine or natural therapies or both, you need to be addressing that fertility health issue in some way. If you have heard you have a low AMH level and you don't have a diagnosed fertility health issue, you're just not conceiving month after month after month, it's important to think about having that ultrasound to count follicles. But even more than that, chart your cycle so that you can know and see when you're ovulating and be optimizing that fertility window, be able to try to conceive during your fertile window specifically, and working to support egg health and egg strength. Because we know, even though you have a low AMH level, there are eggs there. The only case would be if you're menopausal or you've been determined to have early menopause. I mean, those would be exceptions to this rule. But in the absence of those, working on supporting egg health naturally. There are proven things we know that boost egg health. Diet, antioxidants are huge. You get antioxidants through your diet, all the whole fruits and vegetables that you eat, but also you can supplement antioxidants. They are best in an antioxidant blend because antioxidants revive each other and work together in the body to benefit you the most. We call them sister antioxidant blends, so it's good to take an antioxidant blend. CoQ10, particularly CoQ10 ubiquinol, is known to boost egg health and cellular health overall, help eggs and cells fight free radicals, which antioxidants do as well. You need to be managing stress. I jumped a little bit back to supplements. Maca. Maca is wonderful for helping people manage stress, but also filled with many nutrients to boost cell health, and eggs are cells, so egg health as well. Royal jelly is something to learn about. Taking a whole food multivitamin and a quality omega is a wonderful idea. We consider whole food multivitamins insurance for your fertility diet and your healthy whole food diet. And omegas help fight inflammation, any inflammation that might be there, among many other things, but they're really great for cell health as well. So if you're interested in a natural fertility program to boost egg health or an egg health program, we certainly have one, but the first place to start is your diet. Having one gigantic dinner, salad, plate-sized salad every day, starting with fertility smoothies, making sure that you're getting those greens and all of those fruits and veggies is optimal. Again, if you have a fertility health issue, you need to be working on that as well. But a lot of what can be done for egg health can be used alongside what you're doing to address the fertility health issue too. So now I want to talk about or touch on the two questions that I got this week that prompted this talk. A new mom reached out to me about her AMH levels. She just finished breastfeeding her child, who was just over 1 year old, and had her AMH levels tested and found that they were low, very low in fact, and now she's anxious about it and worried because she'd like to have another child. My response to her, and something that you should know if this is the case for you, is that anything that disrupts hormones involved in the development of follicles and AMH secretion can cause low AMH. This is breastfeeding. This is birth control. This can be medications that are supposed to be fertility supportive. This can be stress. This can be lack of nutrients in your diet, being malnourished, being underweight. These are all things that influence hormonal balance. And anything that does that and disrupts follicle maturation can disrupt AMH levels. So in the case of this woman who emailed me, she had just finished breastfeeding. That suckling of a baby and the hormone shift that happens in order for a woman to be able to produce breast milk is known to suppress ovulation. That happens for a different length of time for each woman who chooses to breastfeed. And that very well could have been the reason why her AMH levels were low. So my point in sharing this topic, or this particular question, wasn't to talk about someone who's had a baby, right? I don't want to hurt your feelings. But it's that it's really a good idea to give your body some time to shift from the imbalance to finding balance. So if you've been on a medication, give your body a little bit of time before you go have testing. A, because it might be skewed, and B, because it costs money and you don't want to really have to do it again, because you probably are going to have to do it again down the road. So give your body some time to heal if you're trying to recover from being malnourished or a nutrient deficiency. If you've just been through a really chronic, a really stressful experience, or you're coming out of adrenal fatigue or chronic stress, if you've just taken a fertility medication, if you've just stopped breastfeeding, anything like that, give your body a little time after the event or as you're healing. Let it heal before you consider those tests. And make sure your doctor knows what you're going through or what you've been through recently, and that you've heard that maybe you should wait to do the testing, just to ensure that it is as accurate as it can be at the time. And then the next question was someone asking specifically about supporting an increase in follicle size. Can you do that naturally? Hormones vary throughout the menstrual cycle. We know that. Or if you don't, now you do. They fluctuate, and that needs to be taken into account when looking at follicle size. There's a specific time in the cycle where your follicle is going to be small. And there's a specific time in the cycle where it's going to grow. And then it's going to go away. If you've ovulated, the follicle will, it basically will shrink back down again. That's really rudimentary. So if you're going to have follicle size looked at, ensure that it's at the right time of your cycle to even be looking at, which is nearing ovulation. It should be growing. The follicle should be growing as you near ovulation, which should be mid-cycle. It's important to take into account if you have a fertility health issue or an ovarian health issue if you're going to have follicle size looked at. And it's also important to know that the hormone estrogen is a prime factor in helping follicle size increase until you reach ovulation. In fact, looking at estrogen throughout the entire cycle is something to talk to your doctor about. But ensuring hormonal balance, the balance among all hormones, is key. And there are natural ways to do that. There are many herbs that support the endocrine system, which is the system responsible for hormonal balance. But also diet and lifestyle and managing your stress and all of these things that we say, I repeat over and over and over because they're important and they're influential when it comes to hormonal balance. So again, let's go over one more time. In case you're just joining, you can go back and watch from the beginning, but we're talking about AMH levels and what they mean for your fertility. If you've heard you have a low AMH level in the absence of a fertility health issue, now's the time to make diet changes. Now's the time to look at your stress levels and start using any number of the tools available to you to manage your stress. Now's the time to support the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus and support the HPA axis and hormonal balance, right? There are herbs to do that, Vitex, maca, There are many superfoods and nutrients like essential fatty acids we talked about, dark green plants and dark green leafy plant powders. You know, there's greens powders, things like that. Bee pollen, royal jelly, CoQ10, antioxidant blends. Again, diet. There are also natural therapies that are known to help support all of reproductive health, but ovarian health and ovarian strength. Circulation is key to that area to help those organs function at their best. You can increase circulation by staying hydrated, but also by exercising, considering fertility massage, fertility yoga, castor oil therapy even. Dong quai and L-arginine are a herb and a supplement known to support circulation throughout the reproductive system and throughout the body, and moreover a 90-day egg health program. Now all of this could still apply if you have low AMH and a determined or named fertility health issue, but there may be other things that you would want to do to address that fertility health issue as well. So we want you to know that herb supplements and natural therapies are really best able to support the body when your stress is managed and when you are of a healthy weight and when you're eating a healthy diet. But the eggs can be influenced by herbs, supplements, and natural therapy, as can sperm. Many of the things you do for egg health, you can do for sperm health too. So if that's your concern, what I've talked about here may not all apply, but that natural therapy program could apply as well. So exercise daily, start yourself on an egg health program. Make sure that you understand what your AMH level means for you, given your fertility health and given your age and given where it was measured in your cycle and all of those things. And hopefully you'll notice more often than not that you ovulate and you can take advantage of trying to conceive during your fertile window. All right, well, that's what I have for AMH levels. It is just one hormone in the bigger picture that is you. So if you're stuck and you're not quite sure where else to go even beyond my talk or seeing this video, you certainly can reach out to our team. We offer fertility consultations that are one-on-one, where someone can help you look at your entire diet and your stress levels and everything, and then create a program for you. Well, with that, I'm going to leave you for today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you have any questions, we have contact us forms on both of our websites. We're happy to help link you to guides for more information, to a fertility herbalist if you want to talk about a consultation in regards to your AMH levels or whatever you're dealing with. We're more than happy to get you information, help you feel empowered to make these natural fertility choices, and or guide you on a program through a consultation if that's really what you need and what would be best for you. So thank you. You're welcome, and thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next week. All right, bye.